Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Coffee with Krueger every weekday morning now at 6:30 in the morning. Taking a look at some of the rainfall totals we saw from yesterday. Now, as expected, the rain mainly was kind of pushing through the north coast yesterday, where we did see over an inch, close to an inch and a quarter out in Crescent City, a little over 3/4 of an inch, that is, out towards Eureka. About 3/4 of an inch in Hoopa, about 1/2 an inch in Redway, and then, as expected, pushing to the east, you saw about 1/4 of an inch, give or take, for Trinity County, western Siskiyou County, and less than 1/10 of an inch of rainfall pretty much anywhere else you go. And in fact, that main band, that line of rain that pushed eastward, pretty much just broke apart before hitting places like Modoc County and Lassen County. And as a result, most of that rain was down to the south. Places like Chester, about 2/10 and about 7/100 of an inch of rainfall in Quincy. But nonetheless, some rainfall. Not as much as anticipated, I think, in most cases. The models were predicting about 1 inch to even 2 inches of rain out towards the north coast, so kind of overshooting there. It was averaging at about 1/4 of an inch for parts of the valley, overshooting there as well. And a little bit more than that, even upwards of 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, even for parts of Modoc County and Susanville as well, but obviously overshot that as well without much in the way of rainfall. Well, let's get you to Krueger's Quickcast here for your Monday, April 7th. And this is just a quick look at your forecast for those of you that are just checking in and want to know what to expect here for today. Maybe you got to get out the door here soon. And if you're doing that at 8 o'clock this morning, well, you'll be looking at mainly dry conditions. Now, we're basically mostly cloudy. I think there are going to be some breaks in the clouds for some of us this morning. Today is just one of those unsettled days. This is a prime example of an unsettled weather day because you've got a mixture of sun, some clouds, and a chance for a few showers. Many of us will make it through the day today without even seeing a drop of rain, especially for places like Tehama, Glenn, and Butte counties in the valley, and many of the higher elevations too. Now, right now, temperatures are pretty mild out there. We're sitting in the mid-50s for most of us in the valley. Pretty mild in the mountains too. Again, mainly because of those overcast skies that we do have out there this morning. And by the way, I don't know why I didn't even think to do this, but I'm going to show you the radar here right now because the radar is going to show that we do have a little bit of shower activity out here. You can see it's mainly along the coast there. All of this basically moving to the east, by the way. But there are some showers that are kind of moving out of the valley this morning. So just east of Oroville, where we're seeing some of those showers, and even in southern portions of Plumas County, but even to the south of that. But again, we see some of those showers along the coast this morning. Those will probably dissipate, though, as we go into the afternoon hours. All right, so again, there you can see those current temperatures that we're seeing out there right now. Take a look at that satellite image. And again, you can kind of see some of that rain kind of pushing eastward. It's the main band of rain that pushed through yesterday and last night that's moving eastward. And what we're left with here is just a cool and semi-unsettled atmosphere. And I say that because we're just not going to see a lot of rainfall out there today. Let's take a look at, this is called the HRRR forecast model. We'll take a look at our in-house model here in our deeper dive forecast, but they're both in pretty good alignment. There you can see this morning, it is showing some of those showers around the north coast. By around midday, not a lot going on. Now, I do think there will be more breaks in the clouds than we see here, especially for parts of the valley. Then we go into the afternoon and you can see a couple of pop-ups here. This is nothing guaranteed, but this is where I think we're going to see the best chance, at the very least, for some pop-up showers, is it will be basically around the Redding area northward into northern Shasta County. South of that, Tehama, Glenn, Butte counties, it doesn't look very wet at all. If seeing any rainfall, although you can see a little bit of a pop-up there in northeastern Butte making its way into Plumas County. But even 5 o'clock this afternoon, those line of showers could possibly stay around the Redding area northward, close to Bernie. Then by 10 o'clock tonight, it's done with. And as I mentioned, I do expect to see more breaks in the clouds than you see there. If you're heading out to the Mount Shasta Ski Park, I had a chance one last time for the season with my son Aiden. Had a great time. This is actually the first time this year that Aiden and I were actually able to ski and snowboard together. He snowboards, I ski. But we actually snowboarded and were on the slopes together the entire time. None of his friends made it up there. One of my friends did, actually my hairdresser, but we just kind of kept testing back and forth. We were at different parts of the mountain. And so Aiden and I just had a great time. It was so nice to be able to spend the day with him yesterday and get on the slopes with him. And I tell you what, I feel as though I've improved as a skier because I'm able to keep up with him now going down those hills. It's a little dangerous, but it's fun. But it was great. And seeing his skills and to see how he's advanced over the last few years has just been great. All right, so enough of that. Let's get to the Mount Shasta Ski Park. So what I noticed, it was great conditions the first half of the day. By around midday, when you're ready for lunch, that's when we called it and said, you know what? Let's go down into Mount Shasta City, get a nice lunch, and then head home. And that's exactly what we did. So we got some great skiing the first half of the day before it gets too soft in the afternoon. And we went out to a place called Pipeline. If you haven't been there in Mount Shasta, there's one that just opened in Redding. Amazing. We go there all the time. Duck fat fries. That's all I got to say. Duck fat fries. Not the healthiest. You know, when you say the word fat, right? Probably shouldn't be doing it, but good stuff. But they also have some good healthy alternatives on their menu too, so recommended. Highly recommended. We go there almost every time we go to Mount Shasta. So there you go. All right, so you see that the conditions are clear on I-5 and Highway 89, so it looks like you are in good shape. All right, so for today, temperatures in the upper 60s, even some low 70s. I think it'll be a little bit warmer to the south because I think we'll see more breaks in the clouds there. But temperatures are going to be in the 40s, excuse me, more like the 50s for the higher elevations and for the coast. And you can see the raindrops coming from those clouds in most cases, but again, keep in mind, many of us will make it through the day. Many of you make it through the day without even seeing a drop of rain. Temperatures tonight are going to be in the mid to upper 40s in the valley, for the mountains in the 30s, and for the coast, temperatures tonight will be in the mid 40s, give or take. So there's your 7-day outlook, and I think the best chances for rain today will be in Redding. South of Redding, the chances will be slimmer. And that's this afternoon, by the way. Then we're dry and we're warming up. Look at that, up to about upper 70s to low 80s by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a slight dip in our temperatures over the weekend. I am monitoring and checking out the potential for maybe some rain by this weekend, but I'm not confident that that will happen. So I'm not really putting it in the forecast for now. Looks like you can see that the coast will see a chance for showers. Now, here's what I'm going to say about the coast. Tuesday, Del Norte County, a chance for showers as the system will clip Del Norte County, but everyone else dry on Tuesday. And then again, another clipping system on Friday for Del Norte County. Everyone else dry through Friday. And then we see that slight dip in the temperatures over the weekend. For Siskiyou, Modoc County in the Eastern Mountains, again, that slight chance for a few showers here and there. Isolated, few and far between. Most of you dry through the day. We're dry for Tuesday through the weekend. Temperatures going up a bit here by mid and latter part of the week, and then back down a little bit here for Friday and through the weekend. All right, let's take a look at some of the cameras out there, and we are going to be looking at, I got to take that out of the rundown here. That's an old image from a couple of days ago from the last time we had rain there, and for some reason the camera's down over there. Lake Oroville, North Forebay, looks like a little bit of a breeze out there. And yeah, the overcast skies to start off the day. We just kind of got out of some of that rain that we did see overnight into the early morning hours. Taking a look at Main Street, Chico. Looks like that camera is frozen in time. Maybe sometimes we could freeze in time. Unless there's a standstill on Highway 99, which I doubt it, that camera has also frozen. But you can see the overcast skies that we are seeing on Highway 99 and Neal Road. This is out at Highway 44, Sundial Bridge Drive. This camera never has motion. We just get to see it as still images, the latest updates, images coming down every few minutes, and this is what it looks like in Redding. And you can see off in the distance the partly to mostly cloudy skies that we do have out there. Hey, by the way, I want to remind you, of course, next week, can you believe it? Next week, Friday, is when the Red Bluff Roundup starts, and I have got a pair of free tickets that I'm going to give away, and it's easy for you to enter. All you have to do is email me at mkrueger@weathernorcal.com. And what's even easier, and I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's do this. Let's go to the website. And here we go. We're going to go to weathernorcal.com. Right? All right, so you go to weathernorcal.com, and here it is. All right, you see in the very right here, and you can see I'm just going to see my mouse right there. Click Contact. What it'll do is it'll give you this little form to fill out. So put your name, put your email, put your message, hey, entering to win the tickets, and I'll get that as well. So that's an easy way to do it if you can't remember or you don't want to do a typo as you're emailing to me. But I'll try to send replies to you saying, hey, I got your message, you're entered in the contest, you're good to go. But if you want to win free tickets to the Red Bluff Roundup, I've got a pair of 2 for Friday night's event, and it'll be fun. And the winner will be announced on Coffee with Krueger, right here on Coffee with Krueger, next Wednesday, April 16th. We'll be announcing the winner for the 2 free tickets. So get your entries in today before it's too late, because you don't want to miss out. All right, well, let's, you know what? Before we get to that, we'll leave this up here because that's kind of fun and everyone can see it while we're doing that. We're going to kind of go into some of your comments here this morning. We have got Catherine Schmidt saying, do you do any cross-country skiing? She's asking if I do any cross-country skiing. No, I do not. Never tried it. I don't know if it's necessarily my thing, although it seems like it really would be a good cardiovascular workout and might be a good thing to kind of look into. But I really do like downhill skiing. It's just so much. And it feels like I've just gotten better this year. In fact, I kind of got these entry-level skis that were fairly inexpensive, but now I kind of want to go over to Sports Ltd and kind of chat with them about maybe upping my game a little bit with some of the skis. And the next purchase, my son keeps bothering me about this, is I've got to get a helmet. Listen, I'm old school. We didn't have helmets. We didn't ski with helmets on back in the day, right? So I'm kind of getting used to that idea. But more and more people I talk to, they're telling me I got to get a helmet. So there you go. I'm going to get a helmet. I promise on getting one this summer and ordering one and getting one. And I will be wearing a helmet at that point. So there you go. We got a couple of good mornings from LaDonna. We got Curtis Brown saying good morning. 55 degrees here and no rain. Didn't get any rain last night, huh? Interesting. Because there was some reports out at the Red Bluff Airport. Warmer temperatures this morning. Yes, it is a mild start to the day. And a little breezy in some spots too, especially out along the coast. In fact, we can take a look at that camera on the coast. There we go. And if we put this in motion, do a full screen here. If you look closely, you can kind of see that camera is kind of shaking a little bit here. It's shaking. So we're seeing some gusts up there of about 20, 25 miles per hour. Nothing major, but the overcast skies, it's been kind of drizzling and raining a little bit out there this morning and will be through the morning hours as well. So just kind of be aware of that if you're heading out on that small boat. All right, now we can go ahead and take you to your deeper dive forecast, which is brought to you by, made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Good stuff. We love our sponsors. Without our sponsors, Weather NorCal would not exist. Okay. Here are your current temperatures out there right now, and we're looking at about 56 degrees for Redding, 55 for Red Bluff, basically mid-50s. Pretty mild out there to start off the day, even in the mountains. And that's because we do have the overcast skies this morning, so that's that blanket keeping our temperatures fairly mild and keeping those temperatures from dropping too much. Low 50s even for parts of the coast. Right around 50, give or take, here for Hoopa and to the south as well. So we've got isolated showers today, and a slight chance for a few thunderstorms. We'll get into that here a little bit later. Drier and warmer for the rest of the week with a few coastal showers. And I say coastal showers, I mainly mean Del Norte County. There's going to be another system that'll clip tomorrow, Del Norte County, and then dry through the rest of the week for Del Norte. But then by Friday, you'll see another clipping system that could give you a chance for showers. Otherwise, everyone else should remain dry. And temperature is still a bit of a roller coaster ride, but we're talking very small drops and increases in our temperatures. So here's the overall satellite image here. So the main cold front, which is right here, this is what passed through yesterday and last night, giving us that batch of rain. Now behind that cold front, we saw another little disturbance right here. That's where we're seeing a little bit of rain. We're also seeing a little bit of rain here kind of approaching the coast. That'll all continue to push eastward and die out. But behind this is a cooler and unsettled pattern. Now, not as cool and unsettled as we'd have, say, if this was in the middle of the winter, because the air mass isn't quite as cold as we could typically get. But it is cool enough that I think we could see some pop-up showers, sprinkles here and there, and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm in parts of Northern California, in particular northern Shasta County. So let's take a look at Futurecast. And you can see about 8 o'clock this morning, maybe a few sprinkles. Some of those showers that we're seeing off the coast right now will push eastward. So western Siskiyou, parts of Trinity County, Del Norte, Humboldt County, a few sprinkles, light showers. Still some leftover activity here that we're seeing here this morning that will kind of push down to the south and east. Otherwise, we're seeing some breaks in the clouds. We'll call it mostly cloudy. By midday, maybe a chance for a few showers popping up here and there. And really, this is the type of day that many of us will make it through the day without even seeing a drop of rain. You'll see some breaks in the clouds, and that will be the extent of it. But others, a passing sprinkle, a light shower, and looking at, and we saw this earlier in the Coffee with Krueger this morning here, we took a look at the HRRR forecast model. Now we take a look at the in-house forecast model, and both of them have been in pretty good alignment this morning in giving us some shower and thunderstorm activity, possible thunderstorms around Redding, northward into northern Shasta County, and even extending into Siskiyou County as well. That's at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So sometime during the mid-afternoon hours, we may see a pop-up shower thunderstorm. Now, here's what I'm going to say. If we get enough clearing for the first half of the day, those chances will really increase for those thunderstorms to pop up. However, if it stays overcast and we don't get enough breaks in the clouds, this probably won't happen. We've got to get those breaks in the clouds. We've got to get some of that heating from the sun at the surface. That heat, as you heat the surface, that warm air rises into the colder air aloft. That destabilizes the atmosphere, and we see showers and thunderstorms pop up as a result. But if you don't get that heating, it's going to be hard to really lift that air into that colder levels of the atmosphere, and you don't see the showers and thunderstorms popping up. So again, that's the key. If we get enough of that clearing here later this morning and in the early afternoon hours. Meanwhile, at 6 p.m., maybe some of those showers kind of translating over into Modoc County. There are some breaks in the clouds. Now, as we clear things out tonight, for the valley in particular, I do think that we could be looking at the potential. See that? See how it's clearing out here for the valley? Still some clouds in many of the mountains and along the coast. But with the clearing skies tonight and some of the rain that we've seen over the last 24 hours, we've got a saturated ground. That could mean the potential for some morning fog here for your Tuesday. And maybe some dense fog in some areas here. A couple of things. You've got to make sure the winds are calm. But with the clear skies, that could give us some fog. So we may be talking about some dense fog for some of you in your morning commute, especially for the valley here, the Sacramento Valley. But even some of those inland and mountain valleys may see some of that fog as well. Then, of course, the sun will kind of burn that fog off, and we're looking at partly cloudy skies still. There still is a little bit of instability out there, just in the form of some clouds. But you see that here? There's a look at Del Norte County, maybe a chance for a few showers there, sprinkle or two. That's it. And then for Wednesday, we're clearing things out entirely. It should be a very nice start to your day. Plenty of sunshine, although it looks like maybe a few afternoon clouds off to the east into the north coast. But otherwise, everyone else looking at plenty of sunshine and warmer temperatures. So we talk about this roller coaster ride, and really it's just one of those mini roller coaster rides that you see at a small fair. That's it. Right? Up and down a little bit here. So we're going to be going up over the next few days, and we're talking upper 70s, low 80s in the valley. You see that ridge of high pressure building in. That's the warmer air that we're seeing here. But we do have some colder air over the Gulf of Alaska that I'm watching closely, because we've got a little disturbance right here. That's going to be approaching by the end of the week. Now, what that will do is by the middle and latter part of the week, it's going to start to push that warmer air to our east. So as a result, we will see a slight drop in our temperatures come Thursday, and really in particular on Friday. Then this will push over to our north. Now, just how aggressive this pushes to the south will depend as to whether or not we even get any rainfall out of this. I don't know if I'm really agreeing with this area of low pressure kind of developing off on its own. The European forecast model is not doing anything near that, but you can see this little trough right here. This is mainly what I'm looking at. That's what we call a shortwave trough that will be pushing eastward. I think the main thing it will do is just push the warmer air out. Our temperatures drop as a result, and we'll see a dip in our temperatures by the weekend. For now, I'm going to keep the weekend dry, even for the North Coast. That moves out, but again, I don't think that's really going to be there. So we'll probably see this ridge kind of build over Northern California, and that will give us warmer temperatures for the second half of the weekend and going into early next week. So here's a look at our 10-day trend for Redding in particular. So we're talking about a small little kids roller coaster ride because it does go up. We're going from 70 to 80 in a matter of 2 days. So yeah, about a 10-degree increase. But you see this gradual drop. This is that ridge of high pressure shifting eastward, and as a result, temperatures start to drop. Now, again, that colder air clips Northern California, and that does give us a little bit of a bigger dip in our temperatures, but still above normal for this time of the year. And then temperatures kind of just leveling off in the low to mid 70s here pretty much for the weekend and even going into parts of next week as well. Hey, let's take a look at those lake levels, and still looking very healthy. These positive numbers, that's what we're looking at here. We continue to see that slight increase and rise in the lake levels. Now, keep in mind too, you think of the lakes like this, like a V, okay? So when it first starts filling up, it fills up pretty fast. But as you get to the top of that V, what happens? You have much more area here, and so it's going to take a little bit longer for that lake to rise. But it is rising, and as a result, we are now about 12 feet. Only 12 feet from the crest, folks. That is not bad at all, especially for this time of the year. You can see 92% capacity and the historical average at about 115%. I hope nobody's complaining about our lake levels. They're looking pretty darn good, if you ask me. All right, so there you see, we go into 5 p.m. today. Still slightly high with those wave heights, especially for the first half of the day, but they should retreat later this afternoon and tomorrow. So we do have a small craft advisory this afternoon, but that should be allowed to expire later on today. There's your waves from the south at 6 feet at 7 seconds and from the west at 10 feet at about 15 seconds. I meant to take that out. There's no beach hazard statement. That was from yesterday. That was from last week. Really last night. It expired at 11 o'clock last night, actually. Okay, so there you have it. There's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures around 60 degrees here. Looking pretty nice, actually. Now, could you see a stray shower? Sure. Are you going to make it through the day without seeing a drop of rain? Most of you will. I think that's the case for everybody, including the mountains, valley, inland, coast as well. 55 degrees for High and Palm, 52 degrees for Forest Glen, and 53 degrees for Westwood, or Wildwood, that is. 60 degrees for Red Crest, 57 for Miranda, as well as Garberville and Honeydew, about 55 degrees. Out towards Ferndale, 59, 57 degrees in Rio Dell. And really, you'll see the raindrops coming from all of the clouds on the map here. Again, keep in mind, it's few and far between. It won't amount to much. I think most of it would be along the coast, especially out towards places like Del Norte County, for example, but it's not going to be a lot. Temperatures are going to increase a little bit even for the coast here as we go in the middle and latter part of the week. For your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, your temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s to low 60s. We're dry after today, and really most likely even dry through a good portion of the day today. Almost everyone is going to be looking at the potential of not even seeing a drop of rain. But we do have that stray sprinkle, stray shower possibly popping through for some of the higher elevations and along the coast and even the valley. But we'll get into the valley here in just a second. There's a look at your Siskiyou County for central eastern Siskiyou County. Tennant about 52, 55 degrees for McLeod, and 56 degrees for Dunsmuir. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. I think some scattered showers throughout the day today, even into the evening. 54 degrees for Newell, 55 degrees for Alturas, and 53 degrees in Aden. For your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, yeah, I think Bernie, listen, Bernie, you may see a stray shower and quite possibly, say, a thunderstorm, Montgomery Creek, that potential. So I would say northeastern Shasta, northern Shasta County has a potential for a thunderstorm here. Shingletown, probably not. I think you're going to be a little bit too far to the south and east. Paynes Creek about 60 and 49 degrees in Old Station for today. Let's take you out to Lake Almanor, Lassen Park. You're looking at a chance for a few stray showers, but many of you on this map will make it through the day without seeing a drop of rain. That's the case here as well. Paradise, all right, a high of about 60 degrees, 61 degrees for Doyle and Susanville, and 50 in Mineral. Let's take it to the valley to the south here. So I think the best chance of seeing a dry day altogether today, Los Molinos southward. There's a very good chance you'll make it through the day without seeing a drop of rain. Now, there could be a stray shower, and some of the models picking up on some activity, picking up near Chico, Paradise, for example. So we'll see. we'll kind of watch that closely through the afternoon. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast for Chico, still have that chance for showers in there today. But temperatures are increasing, and you'll really notice that increase by Wednesday, Thursday, and then temperatures dropping slowly for Friday and going into the weekend. All right, let's take a look at the Valley neighborhood forecast to the north, and we're sitting at about 64 degrees for a high today in the city of Shasta Lake, 67 for Redding, so it will be a little bit cooler than yesterday, and that's because some cooler and unsettled air has moved in here for today, and that's going to allow some of us to see those showers. As I mentioned, the north end of the valley, in fact, let's take you back. Let's take you back, and I'll kind of point out where I do expect to maybe see some of those thunderstorms. So around Redding, city of Shasta Lake, maybe Palisadro, and then heading north, Lakehead, northeastward. That's where I think we're going to see the best chances for those thunderstorms. And obviously maybe even better chance for some of those showers. All right, so there's your 7-day outlook for Redding. We're going to be up to about 70 by tomorrow, upper 70s to about 80 for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But temperatures will be on the slight downward trend. There's that bigger drop, but still not that bad on Saturday. They'll have about 73 degrees and then 75 degrees by the time we go into your Sunday. So there you go. All right, we got a couple of reports coming in here this morning. We have got Ray Mudd saying, yeah, we didn't get any rain west of Willows last night or this morning. And you know what? I'm not surprised by that, because this was that typical storm. Even though it was a slow moving one, the bulk of the rain was along the coast. As it moves over the coastal range, it just breaks apart, and we don't tend to see as much rainfall out of it. So yeah, it just depends on where you are. I mean, that's these microclimates around here. The mountains really can wreak havoc on a forecast without a doubt here. Let's see here. We've got Debbie Castro saying, favorite season, flowers, color, life, and not too hot. 100% agreed. I've been taking Nessie out for these walks daily, and sometimes we'll jog as well. And we're starting to see those wildflowers come out. Just a lot of colors, the green. I love this time of the year, because before you know it, it's going to get hot and dry, and everything's just going to turn to brown. It's not as pleasant, is it? The creeks, the seasonal creeks start to dry up, and it's just not as pleasant to be out there. But now, oh man, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. Let's see here. Oh, we've got a birthday. Well, not today, but it sounds like you got a birthday on Thursday, and hopefully sunny, you bet. Hopefully warm, you bet. Temperatures are going to be on Thursday 80 degrees if you're in Redding. I'm not exactly sure where you live, but it will be warm and it will be dry. Looking pretty good. We've got Jeff Johnson saying, good morning, Mike. Way better weather here than in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you went to Pittsburgh or not, but Pittsburgh, yeah, probably a lot better. Talk about, when we're talking about, thunderstorms, tornadoes, wow, what an outbreak they saw in the eastern United States. I've got some friends that work in Tennessee. I've got some friends that work in Mississippi. Yeah, some devastation. Communities just wiped out, that is here. Unfortunately, there were fatalities. I mean, this was just not a good weekend when we're talking severe weather. So, sad. I always hate to hear that. And, my heart always goes out to my friends that have to cover those storms, because it is heartbreaking, especially once you start kind of backing away from the coverage and then seeing what happened from all the coverage that you gave. And it's sad. It really is. It's tough. It's kind of the same concept with fires here, right? I just get so focused on here's what's going on with the fire, here's what's going on with the fire, Next thing I know, you're looking around, you're going, wow, there was a lot of devastation, and it's really saddening. So enough of that. It's a Monday. Let's make it a good Monday. Let's try to make it a good Monday. And Lada's here in Anderson. So good. All right, good to know. And yeah, you'll be looking at a high of about 80 degrees for your Thursday. We got Lori Schaefer saying, we got a lot of rain here in Crescent Mills. Thanks for the update. Oh, and good morning, Mike. Well, of course, good morning to you, Lori. And thank you for the update for Crescent Mills. A lot of rainfall, definitely. All right, that's going to do it. Looks like that kind of covers it here. We are going to wrap up the show and take a look at some of the cameras around the area. I always love this part, because this is always fun to see all the great cameras, see what's going on out there. And let's see here. There we go. We got that up and running, and we are ready to wrap up the show. So have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here in Coffee with Krueger. And by the way, don't forget to enter to win those free Red Bluff Roundup tickets. Send those emails to mkrueger@weathernorcal.com, or just go to weathernorcal.com, click on Contact, fill out the form with your name, and we will get you entered into the contest. Have yourselves a great day, and we will see you tomorrow morning.